my name's Terry Miller-Bushman. I'm a Greater Wolf Trap dance teaching artist as well as a Virginia Commission of the Arts teaching artist. One of my greatest pleasures is bringing movement into the classroom, and as we all know, one of the biggest challenges with bringing movement into the classroom is getting all the wiggly movers under control. So I'm going to show you a couple ways of sequencing your class so that you can maintain order in your classroom. You'll notice we'll start from sitting and work our way up to standing. First, I would set out, before my class starts, it's very important to set out poly dots. I work with these poly dots. You can make a spot on your own and find a video how to do that. And right now I have them set out very closely together. But in the real room, you would want them to be much further apart so children actually have room to dance and move. This dance experience includes sequencing while exploring the meaning of the words float and swirl. So first I would ask the students if they've ever noticed trees shedding their leaves in the fall, any leaves falling from the tree. And I would ask them what they saw, what they noticed about the movement of the leaves. Next I would bring a leaf and I would hold it up high and drop it and ask the students what they would observe. I would do that a couple times and keep asking them, try to get structure their observations towards how the leaf is moving. And I would describe the leaf as floating down to the ground, right? It can float gently down to the ground. Next, I would have them imagine that it was really windy outside. And what would happen to that leaf if it was falling from the tree? Would it float down or would it move in a different way? So I would wait for them to give me some of their ideas, and we would show that with the leaf, which I'm going for swirling around, right? It might swirl up high, it might swirl low, right? So you have floating and you have swirling. I always like to have flashcards as well with pictures and symbols on it, especially for the preschool level. So I would show them floating and swirling. And then I would join the rest of the class that's already sitting on their dots, and we always start from sitting, and I would say, show me how your hands can be leaves floating from high up in the sky, floating all the way down to the ground. And I would watch them float their hands from way up high down low to the ground. Second, we would have the swirling. How do your hands swirl all around? They can swirl high, low, and really call out what the students are doing, right? Are they going high? Are they going low? Are they staying in one spot? Are they going fast, right? Floating usually is described as slower, so give them some language and vocabulary as they're moving. Next, I would add music to their sitting non-locomotor movement. This is important to do before they stand on their dots because kids always get excited the second you turn the music on. So the first piece is classical. Both pieces are classical. The first one is going to be slower and more calm. This is our floating. From high to low. And here's our swirling music. Just let them explore first on the floor before they stand up. So now they're ready to stand up. They've already explored with their hands. Now they can use their whole body. And I would demonstrate always this on the dot first. They can go around their dot. And they can go on their dot. But anything else, I would not recommend right now when they're first starting to explore movement on their feet, right? So somebody might choose to float on their dot, and they might choose to swirl, tiptoeing, or skipping, or jumping around their dot. So again, I would repeat the same music and the same sequencing. So we start with floating on the dot, leaves floating down gently from high to low. And then you can practice swirling around the dots. You can encourage them to use different body parts, different levels, high to low. So after they have explored movement, both floating and swirling while they're standing, either on their dot or around their dots, you can play a game called freeze dance, which I'm sure you already know. This is my favorite thing to use in a preschool classroom because when the music starts, you dance. When it's off, you freeze. You're still freeze like a statue, don't move. So important when kids are swirling and they start bumping into each other and you're like, oh, music's off, gotta freeze. So, in case you've never seen it, floating. Swirling. And then I'd say, freeze. You can move. From here, you could do many different things. You can go do an ABA pattern, float, swirl. Eventually, you don't even need to say float, be floating leaves, or let's be swirling leaves in the wind. You could just play the music, and they are already going to know it just by playing the music.